Cambridge did the double over Oxford in the boat races, and you can keep across the final of the inaugural Women's Premier League. That's all the sport for now.
Ollie, thank you. Ollie Foster there. That's it. I'll be back with the news at 10, now on BBC One. Time for the news where you are. Bye for now.
Good evening, I'm Asad Ahmed. The high-speed rail link construction may be facing delays, but that wasn't enough to save several trees in its path, thought to be hundreds of years old, from being destroyed. They were on the Euston Road and a campaigner called their removal an act of environmental vandalism at its worst. Here's Alison Earle.
Billed as the final stop on Britain's new high-speed rail line, Euston Square has seen its fair share of protests over the years, with people occupying it and chaining themselves to trees. But today, it looks like this.
This particular tree would be certainly at least 300 years old. So, like I say, you're talking about some of the oldest veteran trees in London. We had assurance that these perimeter trees would have been kept, and now we arrive and they're sort of taken in a stealthy approach.
It follows similar concerns about HS2 by conservation charity the Woodland Trust. Dan is among a group who've been trying to save the green space outside the station since 2018.
You're talking here about the Euston Road, the most polluted road possibly in Europe. This area was a haven. It was a little sort of mini oasis in this busy concrete jungle we're in here. And you ask yourself, at the moment of this climate crisis we're in the centre of London, this is an absolute travesty. It's environmental vandalism at its worst.
There are also questions over the timing given recent developments.
Well, earlier this month, the government announced that construction of part of HS2 will be delayed by 2 years to save money, meaning it may not reach here at Euston until 2038.
It just adds further insult to the injury. You know, it's sort of something which I find absolutely perplexing. So when you get these announcements by the government, there seems to be no communication between one organisation and the other.
A spokesperson from HS2 Limited said,
"All works at the Euston site are still necessary to deliver new high-speed rail services into central London. The HS2 programme will transform the Euston area and includes a huge scheme to create new wildlife habitat and plant 7 million trees and shrubs."
Campaigners and residents say they'll be keeping a close eye on the greenery still on the site and say they'll do what they can to protect what's left of central London's natural heritage. Alison Earle, BBC London.
There have been complaints of missed hospital appointments and businesses struggling to cope because of postal delays in parts of Essex. Braintree, Colchester, Harlow and Canvey Island have been affected. Royal Mail has apologised, but just last week a committee of MPs said Royal Mail systematically failed to deliver on its service obligations. Now, there was a charity fun run in Battersea today. It was in aid of the National Literacy Trust, but if you're going to cheer someone on, it might have been tricky to spot them. Here's Harry Lowe.
Where's Wally? Where's Spring? Just some of the questions for these runners in South London. Back in person for the first time in 3 years, hundreds of people raced around a rainy Battersea Park to raise money for the National Literacy Trust.
It was fantastic. Look at the weather. It was atrocious, but the cause and the zeal and the energy and everything about it was perfect.
It was really fun, and I was really tired, but then everyone's enthusiasm just pushed me to go on, and in the end I just felt the sensation that I did it.
Well, wonderful to come out here and run, all for the fundraising and the literacy of children.
Does the weather potentially stop you from wanting to do this?
Oh, it's London, it's what we expect.
And I've got so tired now that I think I'm going to lie on the floor when we get home. I am so tired.
The charity helps disadvantaged children to read, write and speak.
It's been absolutely fantastic to see friends, to dress up, to feel like a Wally, but know you're doing good. One of the things we're really excited about doing in London is actually putting more primary school libraries in place. We know that kids need books in the schools, especially during the cost of living crisis, and we're raising money to actually enable more primary schools to have libraries.
One children's author says events like this are vital for children who might otherwise go without books.
Literacy for children is in crisis in this country. It's a massively serious problem. 500,000 kids in this country don't own a book of their own. 1 in 7 primary schools in this country don't have a library.
While the wet weather wouldn't stop these wannabe Wallies from completing the fun run, one question still remains. Where's the real Wally? Harry Lowe, BBC London.
I couldn't possibly comment, Harry. Now the weather with Sarah.
Evening to you. Still an hour and a half about until the sun sets, enjoying British summertime, but through the night tonight, not feeling very much like we've moved seasons because we do have a chilly start tomorrow morning with a frost at first. The day itself tomorrow, though, much brighter than today, and mostly it'll be dry. Good spells of sunshine, a little bit more cloud in the afternoon. Temperatures perhaps just slightly below par for the time of year. A little bit of a cool feel out there, especially in any cloud. As we go through the next few days, we see low pressure starting to dominate again from the southwest, pushing frontal bands our way, making it much more unsettled, but crucially lifting our temperatures. So a cool feeling start tomorrow and a cool day, and for Tuesday too, but we're back to the mid, if not high teens, later in the week.
Well, after today's university boat race, you can see what happens when races don't go according to plan. That's on our website. Bye for now.
Good evening too. Part 2 of the weekend has brought some changes to our weather. We're seeing a brief cold snap spreading down from the north. It has been